With the launch of SIRUI 75 and 100mm t2.8 primes, the Jupiter 5 Cine lens set now is complete. They join the 24, 35 and 50mm t2, which all are spherical, full-frame, fully manual Cine lenses, and what makes them special is the macro capabilities. 75mm has 1:1 macro, but 100mm has 1.5:1. I'll show examples in a bit. Right from the first glance, they really do seem high quality, well built, fully metallic, which does make them a bit bulky and heavy, weighing just under 2 pounds or roughly 850 grams depending on the mount. However, I found them quite comfortable and well balanced, especially when using the cage and a top handle. Design is beautiful. The lenses are deep black with the signature SIRUI blue stripe and focus distance markings in meters and feet. And speaking of which, the focus and aperture rings are super smooth. They have plenty of grip for the follow focus, although it was comfortable enough to pull the focus handheld too, as they have about 200-degree rotation. One interesting thing to note here is that all 5 lenses in this set are designed with the unified gear position so that you can easily swap them mid-shoot. They all also have the same focus and aperture ring diameter as well as filter thread, which is 92mm. Quite odd, we'll get into that later in the video. And lastly, they come with either PL or EF mount, which means you can use them on virtually any mount directly or via adapter. I use them on my Sony A7IV via adapter. Speaking of which, here's a little sequence I shot with these two lenses and the A7IV. So when it comes to image quality, I will skip the charts and graphs but rather show you real life tests, and from the previous sequence you can already tell that lenses generate a very pleasing image. These are not the sharpest lenses I've ever tried, and I'm not even sure if you really want that for Cine lenses. Personally, I like the little imperfections it has. With that being said, there is plenty of sharpness as you can see from these photos even at the macro end. Regarding the chromatic aberration and fringing, I did not notice any of that even when shooting straight against the sun, which is great. I absolutely love the bokeh of these two SIRUI lenses. You can see both in videos and photos that it produces a very pleasing out of focus area with the balls being nice and round. There is some focus breathing. Here you can see how it is on the 75mm lens, and this one is for the 100mm lens. It might be too much for some perhaps. These lenses have a pretty strong flaring, especially when you focus on objects that are very close to the lens. This, I assume, is because when you focus for the shortest focal distance, which is 29 centimeters, the glass object comes really close to the front element, and without any lens hood, you get a lot of flares. So I suggest using a matte box. And regarding macro, man, you can really get close to the subject and capture even ants, watch movements, tiniest fabric strings, etc. I must say that with moving objects, like capturing a human eye or insects, it is pretty hard because you are very close to the object, and at that focal length, the tiniest movement will be noticeable. A very sturdy tripod is a must. There are 4 things I found a bit hard to go around. 1. When you're at the macro end, you'll see quite clearly all the tiny dust particles on the front element of the lens. Either your lens needs to be spotless or better focus a few centimeters further. 2. The 92mm filter thread. Again, matte box is probably your solution. I wanted to find a step down ring from 92 to 82mm, but couldn't find any. 3. Not a con, but these are quite long focal lengths, so you will see a lot of shake. You need to have a tripod or a stabilizer. Forget about handheld shots, especially if you want to get some macro shots. And lastly, you will need a lot of light for those macro shots. If you open the aperture all the way up, the depth of field will be so shallow that it will be hard to even understand what you're showing. All in all, these are great cinema lenses, amazing build quality, pleasant image with super smooth rings, and extra feature of having those macro capabilities. The whole set is really well planned, and retail price for each of the lenses will be around $1,200. However, super early bird price is just under $900 on Indiegogo. So if you want to get one or the whole set, hurry up, and I will leave the link in the description. Drop a comment on your thoughts about the Jupiter lenses, and don't forget to keep on creating.